This is a regularly scheduled hearing of the Zoning Board of Appeals, Wednesday, October 18th. So we've got one, are we all good on Channel 79? That's on?
Should be.
Okay. So I guess we have one postponement and continuation. It's calendar number 17-2023. That will be postponed to November 15th. Do you need anything else on the record about that? The application of David Brown?
Very
Okay.
good.
So we'll be moving to calendar number 18-2023, the application of David Lasnik on behalf of, I hope I don't say this incorrectly, Hai Chi Wen?
When?
Hai Chi Wen. To allow the construction of a two-story addition and a covered front porch on a three-story house. If you could please introduce yourself in the mic, front person, last name.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is David Lasnik. I'm an attorney with a law office at 970 Summer Street in Stamford. And as you indicated, I am here representing Hu Chi Wen, the owner of 49 Hilton Street in Darien, and we're here on a application for several variances at that property. Can I proceed, or you have more?
Proceed,
Okay,
thank
very
you,
good.
yes.
All right. I don't know if all of you had a chance to go by the property. I uploaded just the other day a number of pictures that I took, and the zoning office suggested that I'd make a hard copy just to have in your file, so I'm going to give you that. And you can mark that or keep that, whatever, however you want to do it. I'll be pointing to some of those pictures on my presentation, and you can keep that as part of it. So, okay. All right, again, good evening. We're here for a application for several variances at this property, having to do with side yards, front yard, and stories, or at least, well, we'll get to that in just a minute. The side yard variances is 9.7 feet on one side and 20.1 feet combined, in lieu of 10 feet and 25 feet combined. We're applying for variance of 25.8 feet front yard setback. I'm sorry, those were side yard setbacks. A front yard setback of 25.8 in lieu of 30 feet. And a variance more, I guess, just to validate this house as a three-story house. And I'll get to that in a minute. We're not changing the height of the house in any way, but we'll get to a little explanation when I get to that. If you've been to the property, I think maybe you can appreciate the topography. This is, I don't know if it's unique, but certainly the houses on this street are certainly faced with some interesting landscaping issues. When you see the picture of the house, and I'm just pointing to the exterior front, it's a very small, unassuming little cape. I mean, there doesn't appear to be much to it until you start to look at how the property drops down. From front to back, it drops almost 40 feet from the very front of the front yard all the way to the very rear of the backyard. Within the area of the house, I think it's about a 30-foot drop in that area. The house was built in the late 1950s. There was a variance granted for this property, I believe in 1963. It's in my application. And that was to construct, they refer to it as a shed, but it's a substantial addition. Put onto the side of the garage, and you can see it. I'm pointing again to the pictures that I have in front of you here. And then I have several pictures from behind. So again, you get the idea of how high that shed is. It's suspended above the ground. And that was all granted back in the early 1960s. It's a small garage. It's a one-car garage. I don't know that you could fit much more in it other than a car in that garage. Our proposal today is to remove that shed, tear that down, tear down the garage, and rebuild the garage, pull everything back. The shed is at about 5 feet setback. We're now moving everything back to 9.7 feet, so we're reducing the nonconformity on the size of the property. Again, I'm pointing to this area where the addition is.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lasnik, did you say you're removing the shed, or you're just
Removing-
moving it? Okay,
removing the
removing,
shed,
not moving,
right.
okay.
So the shed is being removed. The HVAC air conditioning underneath the shed is being removed. And again, I'm pointing to the rear picture showing the back of
The
that shed.
the second column from the right, upper picture, yeah, with the car in it.
Yes,
The shed is blocked by the tree.
yeah, it's over there,
that-
you can see
okay.
it,
Now, using either of those two pictures.
yes.
Are you proposing to extend to the left beyond where the garage line is?
Beyond the garage, but 5 feet farther in from
okay,
the edge
so-
of the shed.
So almost where the fixture is on the door
Yeah,
fixture
if
is
I
on the
could-
shed?
Rough approximate, if
Right.
you'll bear with me, but
Absolutely.
yeah, I would say I'm pointing to the top picture here showing the shed on the side of the garage. So probably half to 2/3 of that shed would disappear, and the new addition would be, again, somewhere in the middle towards that.
And
You're
would
picking
come,
up 5 feet, so
right,
wherever
and would
that
come
lands.
out though towards the road as to be aligned with the garage door.
It will be, excuse me, going back to the site plan, it will be no closer to the school. So if you had a chance to see the shed right now, again, the shed is suspended up in the air. There's actually a ramp that runs roughly, and I'm pointing to the site plan here, you'll see a line here, and then it drops down. So there's a ramp that spans that little barrier. The new addition will be roughly at the edge of the shed. So you can see on this site plan here where the shed is on your
Yeah.
site plan. The addition is no closer to the street than that point.
So what, okay, so we love when things become more compliant.
Right, so we're more compliant as a site.
But hold on,
Oh,
but
yeah.
Sorry, I
but it
interrupted
looks
you.
on this that it looks like it's actually in line with the garage door, which is forward of the shed.
Well, it's a,
The shed is kind of recessed now. so
Because
they're
the
bringing
shed
it
is,
forward.
because
Yes,
the shed
shed's
is
recessed.
the shed is further from the
Yes.
road. So you're bringing the
yeah,
addition,
it's a touch, the site plan seems to have just a touch farther back than the existing
It looks like it's like
garage.
4 or 5 feet back, no?
No,
Okay.
because the garage is, hold on a second.
but it doesn't matter where the shed is.
Correct.
Your proposal is that the addition will be along the same distance from the road as the garage.
Yeah, if you look at the site plan
Yeah, I
that
am.
you have, you can kind of see the existing garage traced
Right.
underneath the addition.
Right.
And so the lines are very close,
Okay.
certainly not 5 feet.
But the garage right now is within the setback.
That's happening.
Yes.
It's half and half, okay. So by bringing the shed forward, I know you're getting
The
rid of some
garage
of
is-
it.
It looks like the garage is mostly conforming.
The
That's what
garage,
I
I
want-
think,
that's
is
what I'm getting at.
actually
Okay.
a touch, and I don't know, it wasn't clear to me when we did the application whether the setbacks had changed since this was built in the 1950s or not. It seems slightly non-conforming as to that corner. There
Okay.
was never a variance granted, the garage is original to the house, so I can't really speak to what happened in the 1950s when it was built.
Okay.
But it did seem like the corner of the existing garage was slightly out of compliance.
So we always love to do the math, like, right, like what's going away and what's increasing? So it seems like there's a net of a decrease.
There is a net decrease in side yard setback, because
Okay.
currently you have a shed that's about 5.5 feet. Let me give you the exact number.
Okay. I think it's
Your,
5 plus feet on the side. Is what-
and this is in my item K.
Okay.
The shed's 5'6".
5'6", and you're going to 9'7".
Yeah, 5.6,
Okay,
so we're
roughly
going to
4
9.7.
feet, okay. So that's better. The shed is going away, and the coverage on the shed was what? How big was the shed roughly? It was in the setback, and it was,
I don't know if I did that calculation for you.
But what's the overall coverage?
yeah.
There's no-
Is the overall coverage 22%? Was that what we saw?
No, that's the
Oh, that's
No,
okay.
this
the
is-
next, that's the next.
This is compliant coverage.
This is
They're not-
compliant coverage.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay,
Coverage is going from 12.7 to 14.7.
yeah, coverage is not an
perfect,
issue.
okay.
Yeah, we're not requesting a variance for
And what is the hardship?
Well, we'll just hit each
Oh,
one of
you're still
these.
going, okay, good.
Well, that's okay, I'll go any way you want to go.
Okay,
That's fine. All right, well, let's start with the side yard setback. Overall, for this property, topography, shape of lot are gonna be the basis of where the hardship's going to come from. It's not a rectangular lot, it's about 20 feet wider in the rear than in the front, so it's about, I hate to say about, it's 65 feet in the front, and I believe it's 84 feet in the back. So it's flaring out as you go, so it's very, very hard to get the entire house compliant in that. We're reducing the side yard setback non-compliance, and we believe that that's certainly in our favor. There's no other place to put this garage. The only way we can reduce the side yard intrusion of the shed is to get rid of it, and we have to make up to some extent, the loss of usage that we have for that shed. So the garages that were built in the 1950s, they're just not appropriate for what a modern use is today. So we're expanding the size of that garage just a bit, and that's where we run into the side yard setback issue. Honestly, we're 0.3 of 1 foot out of compliance with the side yard itself. Where we run into trouble are the combined side yards, but we're way out of compliance with that anyway. I mean, we're less not compliant, by removing the shed. So there's no way we come up with 25 feet for the side yard. The house doesn't need that. To some extent, the variance seems more than it is, but it's really just 0.3 of 1 foot. Otherwise, we would only be talking about combined side yards. And that's really where the house is at right now.
Is that the setback on that side? It's only 10 feet
Excuse me?
on that side?
Well, you could combine, it's combined 15.
It's combined, so it's
It's
10 and
25.
15,
Right.
no less.
So,
So
but-
you're putting the 15 on the other side where you're,
Correct.
right.
I mean, we can't move the house, so.
See, but that's your choice.
Well,
can
it's the
actually-
choice of the builder when they
You
build
can
it.
actually draw, no, you can actually draw the, I don't know who drew these setback lines. But you can actually draw the setback
Whoever
line.
drew this drew an opposite way, right?
Right, you could draw the setback line so that the right side of the house, as you're facing it from the street, is compliant.
Not anymore.
Why? Because it's 10 feet.
The commission sort of, I guess, clarified the way to apply the total setbacks several years ago. So we have this lease side in which we have to apply the 10. So when they're 5.6 or 9.7, whatever it is, we apply the 10 there and 15 on the other side. We used to have a penalty, remember that, Gary, where we had this, you had
Yeah.
to subtract from 25 what
right,
you are, and you had
right.
to make it up, and so the
So
commission
you apply-
actually
okay.
simplified it.
Okay,
So
so,
now 10 does actually apply the way we practice it,
Okay.
and there's the question.
so the right side is non-compliant, but there's no other way to shift things around. Okay, so
Okay.
we are,
Working
since
on
that
that.
is where it is,
Yeah,
we're using the analysis of a slight overage on the left-hand side.
and let me
of 10
just
feet.
speak to that. Remember, it's also because the side yard is shrinking as it comes by the house. So we're 9.7 just at that corner, and significantly more than that as it goes back.
Yeah, because Woody, this site plan has 2 dashed lines, one in black that says zoning setback line, and then one in dashed red that says 10 feet. Which one are we applying?
The
It's
10,
10
which
The 10.
I think is my line.
Yes.
Yeah, ready,
Sometimes
so this
the
is
surveyors-
Readiness's survey.
No,
They
those
drew,
are-
they drew the lines opposite of what they're supposed to.
Those are
do.
Mr. Woodside's lines, so.
Correct,
No, those, the ones that are in the wrong location are on the licensed surveyors.
yeah, sometimes they have a hard time
Yeah.
interpreting how the
So,
town.
so the
So I
line
guess-
that, so the line that is demarked as zoning setback line is not the right one,
Correct.
Correct.
which is to your benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If,
I'll
if
take
they,
it.
if they had that as 10 feet, would they even have to ask for anything
No.
for
Yes,
this?
because
They
there's
would.
like.
Because the
they're
combo,
nine
because.
No,
they're
we're building
9.7.
up, so the.
But if that was not 9.7 and it just bumped to 10 feet, they'd still have to come talk to us anyways
Combined.
because the combined is
Combined is
off?
not 25, right?
And the front porch,
Well,
Well, we'll
talk about-
just
we'll talk
on,
about the
just
front
on the
porch separately.
side,
And-
okay.
it
Just-
could be simplified, yeah.
Also, with consideration to reduce the amount of the requested variance as much as possible, we've cut out 2 feet. That's why there's a jog in the side of the garage. Because again, there's an angle here on the shape of the lot. And so we cut out 2 feet, otherwise we would be asking for I guess a 2.5-foot variance. Something
By
like that.
bringing it forward.
Yeah, so,
So, why don't you, so there's a small area that's non-conforming, I think you have it on another drawing.
yes, there's a couple there, so that's the first variance. The second variance is, I'm sorry, was
Let's
that what you
dispense
mentioned?
with that quickly.
You're fine. with
What's the size of it?
that.
You can find it.
Yeah.
The
24
portico.
square feet, I'm sorry, I don't have that measurement. I may have it, one second. You know, I'd have to scale it out, I can get that for you.
It looks like it's 6.5 by 4.5, according to staff notes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, he didn't measure it out, so.
So they're,
I have a scale for
they're
those.
Shows up
covering,
on
Oh,
that.
you're talking about this is.
yeah,
front
that's
view.
what he wants to point to.
You
Yeah.
can find the quarter on there, it might be quarter scale.
This is, what is this, 1/4 equals an inch? So, yeah, 6 feet by, 6 by 3? 6 by 4 maybe?
6
We
by
have
4.5.
6.5 by 4.5.
6 by 4
Or
is
6 by
24
4
feet.
plus or minus. So,
It's what's there now.
yeah, so we generally allow 5 by 8 into the front yard setback, covered without enclosing, so.
Yeah, and that's what Mr. Woodside indicated, and I saw staffing comments, you have some standard language, not enclosed, no creation of living
Correct.
space, et cetera.
Correct, so let's keep
We would be
talking about the
perfectly
more
accept-
difficult ones.
We'd be fine with that.
Okay.
All right, so I won't spend too much time on that. The third variance has to do with the designation of this as either a 2 or 3-story house. So we spent a lot of time with the surveyors, I know the land use office spent a lot of time with them, trying to figure out, and there's a formula that you use, and it has to do with establishing a base elevation based on the slope, and then measuring the height of the ceiling, and if it's over a certain number of feet, then what you've created is actually a story. And when we went through that, I was not convinced that this was not already a 3-story house. And that really would have to be determined by the height of the ceiling in the existing basement. So if you look at, I'm just gonna pull up the elevations. So right now, there's already if you will, a lower level. And we're not changing the height of the building, and we're not changing the slope. So it seemed to me, if the calculations are defining this as a 3-story house, it's already a 3-story house.
But isn't there an issue related to how much of the stories are finished?
Well, we're not adding any finished space in the lowest level. So it's shown on your, I'm referring to here, it's called unfinished storage.
Right,
That's all there is.
right.
So I'm looking at a side elevation as if you're standing over at Middlesex School looking back.
Mhm.
You're out here somewhere. The garage is sitting on grade.
Right.
So all of this area below the garage is just simply, there's ledge there now. In fact, if I may,
So the unfinished space is much less than 1/2 of the first floor.
I'm sorry?
It's much less than 1/2 of the first floor, even if it were
Well, it's
finished.
nothing, yeah. It's-
Right.
yeah. If, looking at the rear picture, where the shed is,
Right,
this area here is where the garage is, and all this, most of that is ledge at this point. So when the new addition is built, it'll come back a bit, and that unfinished storage area will be somewhere in here, underneath the back of the
so
garage.
what's the question if it's such a small percentage of the first floor?
It's just that they're adding volume to a non-conforming 3-story structure.
But why is it
You
not?
guys get to decide if that volume's appropriate and where.
You're saying it's 3-story because it's above grade?
The way we define it is if the ceiling of the lower level basement
Yep.
is more than 5 feet above the average grade,
Right, then that's a,
then it has
then
to
that's a
count as a
story.
story no matter what it's
It's
used.
technically.
But it's
the
being
story.
created by the extreme slope of the.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Right.
that's the hardship, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
Right.
if the slope
Right.
were not,
Exactly,
because then the mean grade would be higher.
exactly. Right.
You gain the story, if, as Mr. Woodside said, if your lowest level is more than 5 feet above the
Right, but
grade.
it's being created by the extreme
Yeah.
It's a
drop off of
technicality,
the
right,
land.
yes.
Yeah, but again, I think it may already be 3 stories.
Yeah.
I don't think we've,
Right,
so,
again, only because of the drop of the land.
right, but I wanted to be clear when we made this application, because the question came up, and I said,
Yeah.
all right, well, why don't we just make the house conforming anyway? If you want to consider it 3 stories, the tax office calls it a 2.5-story house.
Right.
It's up to you. I mean, it doesn't change anything other than you're now designating it as 3 stories.
Well, you're not increasing the height.
No, the
remains
height,
the
the height
same,
of the,
so, and it's under 30 feet.
absolutely.
Okay,
Same line.
And,
Well, you are increasing the height of that area, just not increasing the height of the
Correct.
higher.
The
Right.
the
Of the
addition
higher.
is still in compliance with your 30 feet
Correct.
limit. So the area where the garage is now will be higher, but it will be no higher than the 29.
so it's more volume.
and as we think about where else you can put this non-conforming area, you can't put it, when you look,
We can't move the garage.
no, but if you look at you could create more, you could create your addition, because it's more living space
Put
for
it
you
back.
around the back, but the ground drops off so severely.
Well, and that really wouldn't change anything. I mean, we would still be 3
Right,
levels. I mean, we'd have to build it up on stilts, 20 feet high.
right.
So,
That would just remove
The
the
drop
side
off of
yard
the land
request.
really, but the drop off the land is really the
But-
founding problem here.
if you had a chance to walk around, I mean, it's really kind of spectacular though. I mean, it's a very unique piece of property because it's tight up against the Middlesex School. So it's all woods and you can't see it. And from the front, it's really just this modest little cape.
It's
So,
deceptively large.
So how much square footage are you adding?
do you know how much, I'm talking to the owner. Well, different usable space. So the garage is a little bit bigger. It now has a mudroom behind the garage. And then there's now a bedroom above the existing garage. This will be a slightly bigger bedroom because the space is a bit bigger. I don't know if I have that calculation at my fingertips.
Can you go back to the front elevation of the house?
If it's important, I could probably figure that out.
What's this front elevation of the house? The proposed,
Excuse me?
front elevation of the house proposed.
Front elevation. So this orange line designates,
New material.
it's still a one-car garage.
Right.
It's not. Oh, and we did agree to one other thing in the application.
Makes perfect sense.
Land use suggested that the driveway be widened just a bit to accommodate another car. And there is room to do that right up to a drainage easement in favor of the town. So if you look at the picture I have with the car, you can't really see the shadows, but there's a little stonework that the idea would be just to push the whole driveway out. And I was there the other day. I think you could fit a second car right next to it and then get the car off the street. Because there's a lot of walking traffic from the middle school in that spot. Very busy. I was there at 3 o'clock yesterday, and there's just tons of kids coming out. So
John?
I think I'm good on questions.
I am as well.
Jana? Okay. Carrie?
I think I
You haven't
understand.
really talked at all.
No, I understand
this
the
is-
application.
Okay,
I'm all set.
you're all set? Does anyone from the audience wish to speak on behalf of the application? Anything else, Mr. Lasnik, from you?
I'm all done.
You're all set?
I'm all set.
All right. If that's it, then we will close this hearing and we'll deliberate later tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you discuss after the hearings?
We do. If you want to stick around, yes,
Yeah.
this will be kind of an early night, so we will do that.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, calendar number 19-2023, the application of Jillian and Thomas Gillerin or Gillerin?
Galorin.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Gillerin.
No one gets it right.
To allow the construction of a second-story extended dormer addition at 18 Seagate Road.
Correct.
Please state your name for the record. You good?
For the record, Tom Galoran, 18 Seagate Road. My wife, Jillian Galoran. Sorry, homeowners. As you can probably tell. So I'm going to start with a little background because I think that explains what we're applying for and the reason that we're here. So the house was originally built in 1941. And this is the original part of the house. And as you can see, they built it on a little bit of an angle, a slight angle. In 1962, they received a variance to put on an addition. And they continued this line forward. Because of that, part of the house, this front corner here, is non-conforming and is over the setback. So this all occurred in 1962.
And that was the subject of the variance that was granted.
Correct. The 1962 was the variance approved. They built the second story there. So we have a non-conforming house, basically that is here because they built it at a slight angle in 1941. I'm not sure why they didn't square it with the road, or else we wouldn't be here today. So what we're asking for is to take 3 dog shed dormers, which are on the side of the house being this side here. And we are going to turn it into a single shed dormer across, which can be seen here. So we're going to go from 3 to 1. So this proposal would not increase the square footage of the house. It would not increase the coverage of the house. There would be no additional overhangs. There would not be any changes to the height of the current peak of the house. There would be no alterations to the foundation or the structural footprint of the house. There would only be an increase in volume as we eliminate the angles in between the dog shed dormers. The hardships for this is we are looking to bring the house, right, originally built in 1941, the additions in 1962, up to current lifestyle standards. So the plan, and the reason why we need or we're looking for a variance, is because we're trying to move a bathroom from a 34 square foot 1962 bathroom into a modern bathroom that's about 120 square feet. There's angles all throughout the house. Right now, it's a stand-in shower where you kind of duck by the toilet. Is that
the master?
That's the
Or
master.
the primary? Sorry.
Sorry, that's the primary next to the primary bedroom. We uploaded some pictures. It's exactly what you're probably picturing. So again, if our friends back in 1941 had built the house on the right angle, it wouldn't be non-conforming. So it's non-conforming, and we're trying to bring it up to the current lifestyle standards. And that's really what we're looking for. I hope I...
So talk to me about coverage on this lot.
Yes, okay, so the coverage on this lot is currently 22.5, which is over the current 20% that you look for in an R and 1/2 lot. The reason for that is from a 1998 permit granted by the town of Darien to add a pool. So in 1998, they added a pool, which you can see here, and it also includes this pool equipment, like the filter for the pool, a little slab in the back. So again, with this variance, we are not applying to change any coverage. There'd be no increase in coverage, no change in the square footage, no change to the height of the house, simply volume and eliminating a whole bunch of slants that run through one side of the house.
You're not just combining the 3 dog houses. You're going from the back of the house to the front of the house.
Correct, and the variance is
As a shed,
because
yep.
the front of the house,
Yep.
I think it's 5 feet is
Right.
over the setback
Right.
rule.
And I assume you've notified the neighbors that are on that side? And
Yes,
have they?
they wrote a
Because
letter.
we've got the windows facing that side of the,
Yeah, so the neighbor is a gentleman by the name of Frank Kemp. I uploaded his letter of his approval for this. Frank's house is actually, he has a nice view of the pond, so he doesn't spend that much time looking backwards at us Lawrence on the other side.
right.
Good,
Tell me about, isn't this the one with the fence that's in this?
yes.
The
Yes,
fence is on
so.
the town property?
Yeah, so there's a fence, we're not sure the original construction of the fence, that runs in the front of the house. So the property is one of 4 houses basically at the end of a dead-end road on a cul-de-sac. There's no sidewalks on the road, there's no real foot traffic. The fence, in 2020, a month after we moved in, a microburst came through town. I'm not sure if it hit any of you guys, but a whole bunch of trees came down. It knocked down the fence. The town of Darien came out because it fell from the town of Darien property. They replaced the front of the fence in 2020. In addition, we have a dog.
Well, they replaced it exactly
As
where it
is,
was,
yeah.
right?
Exactly where it was. Yeah.
How
They're not
much,
checking to see if it's.
how much of it was replaced by the town?
Yeah.
It would be, so I guess the posts are like
Go
10
fix
feet,
that
so it'd
fence.
probably be about 40 or 50 feet. So if whoever took
That's not usual.
took the picture, whoever took the picture for the application, the tree fell from your left down and, I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, just stopped short of the house. And so it was a giant oak tree that was down there. I guess that's kind of a side note. Really,
You're
the
telling me the
fence,
town rebuilt the fence on the town property,
yeah.
okay?
How
think
far
you're done.
How far into property is it?
The
Pardon?
fence.
How far into town property is it?
Oh, pretty far. 10 feet, maybe?
What?
Really?
No.
That was their opportunity to do something about it.
Am I looking?
I don't
No.
know.
One right in the front
No,
yard?
there's not 10 feet here.
You can see it on the drawing there.
Let me
The
see.
line is and where the property line
Here's
is.
a close-up, if that's helpful.
Yeah, no.
It's probably 12 feet
I
or
got
so
it.
from
I
the
just
curb
got
to
it.
the
Yeah,
property
thank you.
line.
Interesting.
And the fence is 3 or
Because of the
4.
width of Seagate, the town owns a lot of the property.
Yeah.
Because
That,
the road is so.
It's not a very obtrusive
that
fence.
the
It
owners,
doesn't block
that the
views.
owners maintain.
It's a split
Pardon me?
rail fence that runs here. There's another split. I don't know if
wow,
it's supposed to
yeah.
talk about neighbors,
Yeah,
but-
don't worry about it.
And also we have a dog, a young child, for,
Yeah, but the town rebuilt a fence on the town property.
I think you should stop talking. Thank you.
thank you for your time.
John?
Good.
Jana?
I'm good.
Okay.
That's it.
You?
I think I understand the application.
All right, are there any neighbors that wish to be heard on this application or anybody else in the audience? All right, nice work.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
impressed. All right. Thank you very much. All right, so
I
that,
didn't even give the 10-minute
10-minute warning?
instruction.
I didn't,
I kept the 10 minutes.
Jeff never gives that.
I don't think I've ever even heard that.
I know, I haven't either. All right, so we will close calendar number 19-2023. So now what we'll do is we'll go right into deliberations and decisions. Like good with you guys? All right, all right. So let's start with the WEN application 18-2023. I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm supportive of this application. I think that there is a hardship here, clearly with the slope of the lot. I think having 3 stories is unavoidable, given the nature of the lot. And it seems like a pretty reasonable proposal for the improvements. Yeah,
Any concerns? Anything you want to stipulate about it?
I'm removing the shed, but other than that, I don't have any stipulations.
Okay.
Maybe I'll-
Driveways expansion. Jana, you got anything?
I think it's actually a good thing that they're moving more out of the setback. So I think there's a reduction in the amount of things that are in the setback. So I view this one as kind of an overall positive. And I agree with Matt on the 3-story. I don't see how you get around it based on the topography of the lot.
Yeah, that's what said it to me. Gary, what do you want to say?
Yeah, no, I agree, and on the front of the house, it currently doesn't have any protection for the front door. Although the stoop is, I think he said it's exactly the size that it is now. Putting the portico over the front house, I think, provides a protection that we think is appropriate for the for the homeowner.
Right.
And the size of that is in keeping with our standard of 5 by 8, so it's less than that. I think the only stipulation there is the normal stipulation regarding not enclosing that portico.
Agree. John?
I do like the expanded the stipulation about the driveway though, right? Because that I think there's an entrance right to Middlesex that walks, there's a lot of traffic there. I mean, look, we're talking about 9.7 over there. I would have probably made it 10 myself it's 3 inches to just avoid it, but you know, the land is definitely a hardship. I wouldn't want to build this addition, but you know, good luck. But I'm okay with
I
it.
agree with all you guys. I like the expansion of the driveway. I think it makes the house safer. I like the portico coverage, and the addition in the space is null to me. That fraction of a foot, not an issue. So I agree.
And one other
Yeah.
item, I guess, is that, and the school's right there, right?
Yes.
That's not going anywhere. There's a lot of coverage there.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Couple
So-
questions.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, first of all, there is a fence in the front right away again. Generally, our practice has been to fix those. You may have a reason not to with the other application, but, so you might want to consider that. Then should there
Where's
be
the
something
fence?
about not expanding the 3 stories living space in the future somehow?
Okay.
Like not expanding the 2nd floor in the future,
What are you viewing as the second floor? The main floor?
the main floor, basically, yeah.
Would
Yeah.
they need another variance?
Where
I
the
think they'd have
door,
to come to us anyway, because they can't go left or right.
It would be a gotcha.
Yeah.
Could be a shouldn't be expanded in the future, but it's not very noticeable from the road. It's only big from
Right,
the
but
back and down
But if
the
they can
sides.
figure out how to go back, if they want to build that, inside the buildable area, because the land drops so much, which creates that 3-story issue,
Mm.
I think I think part of us should treat this as if you're looking at it from the front of the house and think theoretically that the land goes straight back and doesn't drop off the cliff. I think if they want to come back, they come back, seeking an expansion. I don't think we rule on that now.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody wants to do, a terrace, they want to fill in, there could be a
But
project down the road that
I think
our
that's,
planning and zoning commission may have to look at
Exactly.
because it's so steep.
exactly, I'm
So
fine with it.
There may be enough future controls, but this is unusual. Okay.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the fence?
Frankly, not concerned about the fence, the picket fence there.
I kind of like it from a safety standpoint. There's a lot of
Kids are
traffic on that
all
road. I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's good for children to maybe get off the side of the road. I mean, that's what these shoulders are for, partly. Yes, extra parking when they need it, utilities and all that, like poles. But also just safety. If somebody wants to step off the road with their dog to get out of the way, the shoulder should be available.
And you're saying it's not here? 'Cause it's-
Correct,
What's the
because-
distance from the,
I feel
from
like
the pavement to the fence?
I feel like I'm missing something. Are we talking about the front of the
The
house?
front
Yeah.
picket fence.
Yeah.
It's at a
that-
dead end.
No,
Right.
but that fence is in a,
Within
It's on town property, basically.
It looks like
When we
there's
talk
also,
about people getting off the street, river, it's at the very, there's nowhere to go, right? When you get to that part of the street, I feel like that picture doesn't show you when you're facing, there is nowhere else to go.
you're saying it's not a busy street?
It can't be,
Yeah.
by definition,
Dead
at that end, it's a dead end.
And it looks like there's a tree there too. I don't know how much tighter you get the fence back into that tree.
Yeah.
It's a problem that comes up, and we heard it with the other application. Hey, a tree fell down. Now the town's got this problem of spending money to repair something that frankly shouldn't be there in the first place.
Well, let them face it, then they shouldn't
So
repair
it's a
it.
public, it's a public
At that
works
point, they shouldn't
dilemma.
repair it. They should
Seems
say,
like
your
that's when you
fence
would
is
deal
in
with
it.
it.
I agree.
Probably should have,
I agree.
so.
Why does the town repair that anyways? Because the tree was on their property? Because the tree was on town property?
Apparently it was close enough to the road in the shoulder right-of-way land.
But-
And it fell, I guess, so town cleaned it up.
I'm leaning towards leaving this fence alone.
I don't
I'm
know.
fine with
The
that.
fence
Okay.
doesn't- fence doesn't belong.
If a tree falls on in the future, I'll encourage the town to do what it needs to do.
So I'll move to approve the application with the stipulations that we talked about as far as enclosing not enclosing out of front portico.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Okay.
That's 5-0. The application passes. Congratulations. Okay. Thank you. Moving on to calendar number 19-2023, Mr. Galoran. Did I say it right?
You got it, thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, you can't comment. I shouldn't have addressed you, but I want to make sure I said it right. All right, I'll start with John.
The neighbor that that is facing this has no issue with it. He wrote a letter for them, it's in the file. You know, I don't, there's certainly, first of all, if they did want to add space anywhere else, they can't because they're already over the coverage, right? So I would say that that's probably a hardship in itself. But I'm okay with this.
Okay, Jen?
I'm also okay with that. I think it's a good improvement for this street. When you look at the neighborhood, the other houses there are a fair number of them that have been redone. I know that's not really a technical consideration, but I always look at that. I look at the street. I look at, what's being proposed. It seems very reasonable to me. It doesn't seem like an outsized ask for what they're proposing. I'm in favor of
Okay.
it.
Yeah, to me, it does feel like the minimum adjustment.
Yeah.
Minimum adjustment? What do we say,
Yes.
minimum? Gary, go ahead.
Well, I think the hardship was created by the original placement of the house, and it was exacerbated with the 1962 variance. So I think we're living within the variance that was already granted by this board to allow them to go over the setback line on the right side of the house as you're facing the house. And it's a pretty small, they're filling in those dog sheds, a doghouse with one shed, only affecting a small portion.
Most of it's as of right.
Most of it's as of right, exactly. And only the small portion was really created when the house was built and then the variance, 1962 variance was given. So I think this is a minimal adjustment for the hardship that was created when the house was built and the variance was given. Further, I would say, if the town repairs a fence on its land, then the town intends it to be there. So I would not, I know staff
There's gotta be-
asked about the fence, I would not have the homeowners remove a fence that the town built.
There's got to be thousands of fences in this town. I'll tell you.
Yeah, but that's,
Right?
but
I'm
we
not gonna
do.
address
I know
them
that
one at a
that-
time.
I
We do
got-
address them one at a time when it
Well,
makes
yeah.
sense to
But,
do
like,
it. In this case,
Exactly.
it doesn't make sense.
And I think there's a safety, I'll let you talk, but I think I like the safety aspect of it also. And I don't think it blocks any views. It's because of the style of the fence.
Yeah, but
It's very
that's-
open and
Yeah, but I don't
provides,
think that's the issue. The issue, I think,
No.
what he raises, is there enough,
right,
grass area for someone to step off the road and not be impeded by this fence?
right.
I think we're
No,
fine.
okay.
Yeah,
Good.
Nothing additional. I
Nothing
agree.
additional?
Yep.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Jana, do I have a second?
I'll second. John will second.
John will
Spread
second.
the wealth.
All in favor? Oh, that's 5-0. Congratulations. You keep your fence and you get your dog shed dormer.
No,
And you're-
Oh, your
Shed dormer.
Your shed dormer, sorry.
Dog house.
Dog house.
Dog house, three
You're
dog
in the
houses-
dog house.
Hold on, 3 dog houses turned into one shed.
That was great.
That's why we need builders on this committee. All right,
I gotta tell you, that.
thank you.
I can't see how that's, I don't know if that,
We're still on.
yeah.
I'm sorry, say again?
But we're still-
No, I'll wait
still-
until we're off.
Yeah, let's, is that it? Should we,
If you don't mind, there's a little other, election of officers
Yep.
we've been postponing, I guess, but
Can we do that tonight? Do we have enough members to vote on that?
No,
A bunch of
No.
alternates.
So we'll have to, yeah.
right. Yeah, it's supposed to be
Okay.
the regular folks, so.
Anything on Giovanni's?
I like the House.
Nothing new, believe it or not. We still
Nothing
haven't
on
heard anything
Giovanni's.
House
back.
Representatives. No
So
speaker.
Jana and Gary volunteered and spent some time to offer some suggestions.
Anything?
No reaction
We
yet.
haven't heard anything,
Oh, gosh.
from what I know.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, we do have September 27 minutes.
Yep. I'll make a motion to approve.
A second?
Kevin, Matt, Gary.
I'm fine with it. No Jeff, no Kevin, so you got the three of us saying it's okay.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay, and then
good enough.
what about this? The business minimum, 2/3, 67%?
Anything more.
Maybe if you wanted to add something else to the agenda, we could do it. But you're
No,
all set, you're all set.
Jeff's gonna be jealous.
Can
I
I-
wrapped this up in,
Yeah, can I move
record
to,
time.
can I move to adjourn?
Yes, you may.
thank you, yes, I'll second. We're adjourning at 8:23. Thank you, everybody, for serving. Thank you.